And it's over. Cold. Welcome to today's Special School Districts Lunch and Learn series. We are excited to learn with Taylor Hartman, Assistant Director of Employment Services with the St. Louis ARC. Taylor will share information about the St. Louis ARC pre-services, employment services and programs, and how they will benefit our student population and community. I am sure that you all will have a lot of questions for Taylor, and we will open up the chat with questions and answers for Taylor at the end of the session. Please be mindful that this is an open forum, so we don't want to give any identifiable, detailed, or confidential information about our students, any child, or family member. Please note, this Lunch and Learn session is being recorded, so if you have to step away, or you would like to share the contents of this session with others, it will be available on our SSD website under the heading Community. Once you click on Community, you will see the tab Community Engagement, scroll down and click on Family and Community Outreach. The link that you will view will have the presentation and all the previous presentations. Lastly, following the presentation, I will introduce you to members of our staff that can help you with additional supports and questions if needed. Again, I would like to introduce Taylor Hartman from St. Louis ARC. It's so happy that you've joined us today, Taylor.
Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to be here. Let me start sharing my screen. And as Michelle said, I'm really excited to be here and hopefully provide some information that will be useful wherever you're at, as far as if it's for professional use or personal use. Hopefully I'll answer some questions today that maybe can be helpful. So I oversee our pre-employment training program. And so first I'll just kind of share more information about what that looks like. Hopefully you guys can see this brochure that we've got. Our pre-employment training program is essentially a one-year training program. So, and I'll kind of get into more of the details in the second page, but from the start time that I meet with someone in our intake meeting, I have 1 year that we can work with that person. And so essentially pre-employment training is for a person who is not quite ready to be competitively employed. Maybe there's a few social skills or a few additional skills that we just need to work on and fine tune before we would be ready to move forward with a competitive job. So oftentimes people who are in our program, they are recent graduates or someone who maybe had a competitive job, but was not so successful with that. Maybe they were terminated or they resigned from that position for any reason. or a person attempted to go through the vocational rehabilitation process, where maybe they were going through that assessment of, are we ready? Are we not? Someone's taking, this person out into the community to try out different places and assess their readiness from there. They may be recommended that pre-employment training is a better option to fine tune some of those barriers that they're experiencing. So that being said, pre-employment training is offered in St. Louis and St. Charles County. We are funded through the Productive Living Board in St. Louis County and the Developmental Disabilities Resource Board in St. Charles County. So this program through the St. Louis ARC, it is virtually the same. Everything that we'll discuss today is the same regardless of county. And this is just kind of our process. It is free. There's no cost to this program because we are funded through those SB 40 boards. To participate in pre-employment training, a person must be 18 years or older. We typically recommend that a person is graduated from high school, and that is so we are able to primarily focus on this resource, rather than doubling up on resources through the school as well. So usually we wait until after that graduation, whether it's 18 or 21. Let me make sure I'm showing this, and then I'll kind of discuss, as I said, some of the details further below. One important piece to note for this program is we do not provide transportation. So that is something that individuals will have lined up with their family or their support network. We try to get that set up before moving forward with the program. And this is just so we are able to focus on getting a person as job ready as possible. And that's one less thing that we would have to worry about once that person's ready. Once we identify a person's ready, we want to make sure that we're moving forward with the application and, the VR services and moving forward with the competitive side of things. So this is one last, milestone we would have to work through. So I'm going to scroll down. This does have my information. And so beyond today, if you have further questions or you just want to chat with me about any particular situation, feel free to email or call me. And then I'm going to show the process map because this kind of aligns the way that we navigate through pre-employment training. There are many pre-employment programs amongst the other providing agencies within St. Louis. So it's always important that families or teachers or individuals, whoever is interested, we always encourage, shop around, learn about the programs that each agency provides and the way they do things, because each process may be a little different. As I mentioned, our program is only 1 year long. So initially we've got this referral piece and we obtain referrals in many different ways. We appreciate any sort of referral, and whether that's from the school system or from VR, at any time, if you're working with someone and you feel they might be a good fit for pursuing this program, feel free to shoot them my information, and I'll further talk with them. So once we've gotten the referral and we're working with someone, or we're about to begin the program with someone, we have an intake meeting. And this is so we can meet the individual who's interested in the program, and we can really get to know them better and discuss their interests, their goals, things with their personality. What are their likes, their dislikes? We want to know what will make this person successful in the workplace. And on the opposite side of that, what would keep them from being successful? Maybe it's loud noises, overcrowded places, repetitive work, or, whatever those things are. We want during this intake meeting and throughout the rest of the program, we really appreciate just open conversations so we can know exactly how to best support this person and the ways that this person learns. So then we can then adjust our teaching styles as well. Also in the intake meeting, we discussed the program expectations and outcomes. So we kind of go over the program and have a similar discussion as we are today. We want to make sure that the expectations are lined up to where this is the program that's right for the person. This is different than a supported volunteering program or a sheltered workshop. our goal through pre-employment is that we are hoping to get this person ready for competitive employment. So long as this person has the goal of obtaining a competitive job in the community, this can be the right program for that person. I say that because it's not the right fit if we're just wanting to stay busy, if we're just wanting to gain skills, keep us busy. This may not be the right program, and it might be better. A better program would be supported volunteering or something of the sort. We want to make sure that we're committing to working towards a competitive job and getting people ready for jobs in the community. So how we do that? We first, after the initial intake meeting, we set up the assessment phase. And this is where the individual and a job coach will meet together and they will complete this assessment phase. And typically we do this either in person at the library, or there might be some meetings that we do over Zoom. As the past few years, we've definitely become more comfortable with Zoom. So sometimes it's kind of a combination of both. But throughout the assessment meetings, we're discussing more in depth a person's strengths, goals, getting to know their personality even more. And we're also wanting the person to feel comfortable and to trust the job coach that they're working with as well. We want to make sure that there's a good relationship that's built there, so that we can move forward and work together well. And so throughout this assessment phase, there's resources and tools that we use to help kind of identify jobs that might lead a person to be successful. If a person's not quite sure what kind of job they're looking for, we can work through job assessments. We can work through brainstorming, trying to figure out, what kind of environments would we be leaning towards or kind of avoiding? Where do we need to start? What are some places we can look at? We also want to hear about a person's previous experience, whether that is a paid job, or maybe they've participated in SWEP or STEP in the past, or VR summer work. Maybe they've been a part of the VSP program at school. So what was that experience like? Were there places that you would be interested in learning more about and potentially working at in the future? So the assessment phase, it's our entire program and our entire philosophy is really individualized. So to say exactly how long assessment phase takes would be really challenging, but we go in depth into each of these pieces to make sure that we are getting a good foundation for us to move forward. Once we have a good idea of where a person's interested in working eventually, then that job coach goes into the community and supports the individual to seek out businesses that might want to partner with us for this program. So, we approach businesses and seeking out these training opportunities and seeing if we can set up a time for them to come in and train. The job coach and the individual are together 100% of this time. And so I hope this isn't confusing. Anytime I say training, I'm essentially meaning volunteering. This is an unpaid volunteering program. And so when we're looking for training sites, if a person's interested in retail, we may go out and check out Marshall's and TJ Maxx or other retail options that are nearby this person's house and or convenient for this person for transportation wise. So through this assessment phase, we are trying to secure a training site. And this is done with the job coach. The job coach really helps throughout this process as well. And so we educate the business partner on what this program looks like. We lay out what our schedule would be like, and we move on from there. So once we have secured a training site within the community, then we move into this training phase. So for this period, I would say this maintains the majority of our program. If you're looking at this as we have 1 year, assessment may take a few weeks or maybe maybe longer, a couple months, sometimes depending on the year or time of year or a person's interest. But then the training phase is the rest of that program, the rest of that time. And in the training phase, that is where the job coach supports the individual at their training site 2 days a week. We like to mirror it in comparison to a part-time position. And so it could be Monday, Wednesday mornings from 8 to noon, or Tuesday, Thursday afternoons from 1 to 5. We like to have a 4-hour window, and sometimes we can work up to it. If stamina is part of those barriers, we can work up to that. But we want to get it to where we're working in 4-hour shifts or 8 hours a week at our training site. Throughout our time at the training site, the job coach is once again there 100% of the time. Unlike other parts of the employment services program or process, the job coach doesn't fade through this period. We are present for the entire shift because we want to make sure that we're providing support. We're helping implement new strategies, and we're overseeing this process. So the job coach and the individual, they train at this site. And we are supporting individuals to learn the entirety of the role. We want to learn exactly what would be necessary for a paid position. So we often look at the paid employees that are in this training site, and we look for them as kind of the example. What is it? What else can we learn within our training time? Because eventually, if we were looking for a paid job here, we would be needing to do all of those tasks. So we want to make sure that we're not only learning a portion or a fraction of the role, and we're learning the full scope. Throughout this time, as I kind of mentioned, the job coach's role is to provide support. And so that is learning the individual's personality and their learning style, so then we can teach them in the way that they need. So we want to implement what we call natural supports, and that is something that's either already present in the environment or something that can be easily added into the environment. So, for example, a natural support can be a relationship with a coworker. Maybe there's another coworker there. So instead of that person always referring to their job coach for questions, we're going to facilitate and foster that relationship within the work environment. So then we're growing, and we are, we're utilizing those supports that we have present. Another example of a natural support would be a task list. So if a person does really well having a checklist and being able to check off things as they go, or maybe a timed list, so then I know what I'm supposed to be doing between what time, we will implement those things as well. So the job coach is wanting to implement and any strategies to make this person to be successful without their presence in the future. Throughout this training process, the job coach is also conducting further assessments. We do very detailed documentation. And so we're kind of assessing this person's readiness, and we're able to see as a person is progressing and no longer needing as many prompts from us, or no longer needing our support for many things, then we can see where else we can fade out supports while still having our presence there. And as a person is no longer really requiring that support from the job coach, or they're showing more independence, then we will move on to the next steps. So that is this last box here on our process map. I usually say that there's probably about 3 options that come from this program. And so firstly, we hope that we're building a successful partnership at the training site, to where if a person is independent and ready to move forward with a paid position, we hope that that business partner might say, hey, you're doing awesome. We'd love to bring you on board. How about you look into, our opportunities here? Now, we cannot guarantee that. And that's something I always want to make just very clear, because that's not something that we have a partnership with, but we just hope that we're preparing a person well enough that they could fit in at this environment that they're training at. And so that being said, if there's no opportunities there and a person is still ready, we want to look into other opportunities in the community too. And so throughout either of those options, we recommend a person goes back to Voc Rehab, so VR services, so then they can receive the funding to move forward with competitive employment. And so basically, if a person is ready, whether it be at that training site or exploring other options, we hope that they are taking the skills that they've learned and they're transferring those into a paid position, wherever that may be. And then thirdly, sometimes our year is not long enough, and there's people who still are requiring more training. And unfortunately, we are bound to that 1 year. So if a person is needing more training and they're just not quite ready to be moved forward with a competitive position, then we will recommend other resources. And that might be supported volunteering or sheltered workshops. Or sometimes people pursue other programs that aren't employment related. They might find that they want to go back to school, or they are, wanting or happy doing more of an entrepreneurial thing where they are babysitting or dog sitting, mowing lawns, and things like that. Different things to where it's not the same as having a competitive job in the community. So if that is the case and someone is just not quite ready to move forward with a competitive job, we will make the necessary recommendations. We want to make sure that we are not moving a person forward with competitive employment unless they are ready. We want to make sure that a person is empowered and ready to be successful in the community, and in a job that is competitive. Meaning, obviously, that can be a variety of places, and requires a commitment and expectations and whatnot. So we want to make sure that we are moving a person forward when they are ready. So that's a very quick gist of our program. Throughout this time, we also have social skills classes. So we understand that social skills are arguably maybe the most important piece to a job. Oftentimes we can learn the hard skills and we can learn how to do something, but we need those social skills that will help us to keep the job. So we do offer social skills during group sessions currently via Zoom, and we offer those 4 days a week. So we have tons of opportunities there that we're also working with people on developing and enhancing those social skills that can help us to be successful in the community. And other than that, I think that kind of wraps up pre-employment. I know it's quite a bit of information, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to go back over any piece that might need further clarity.
Okay, I do not see any questions in the chat. I'm wondering if anyone on the panel has any questions.
And if not, I'm happy to share about SWEP and STEP too, because I know that's always on my mind as we approach summer. So I'm happy to share about that. I just kind of wanted to give some time in case it's pre-employment specific questions.
That was kind of my thought about the summer and deadlines, because summer is approaching.
Yes, summer is approaching. It's always odd. As soon as it's the new year, we start thinking about summer. So we're already prepping on our side of things. And so applications were due for both SWEP and STEP. They were due back in February. So SWEP's lead agency is MERS Goodwill. And so SWEP is a summer work experience program that is funded through the Productive Living Board. It is 8 weeks long. And so once again, that is a free program as well because it's through PLB. And so those applications were due back in February to the lead agency. And now the participating agencies now have our students that we have, because each agency kind of has a zone throughout St. Louis County. And so same for St. Charles County as well. STEP, Summer Teen Employment Program, is funded through DDRB. So that program is free as well. And the lead agency for STEP is Easter Seals Midwest. So those applications were due back in February, and now we are receiving our students for our zones for that program as well. Now, that being said, if any students are thinking about participating in STEP or SWEP next year, because those deadlines are so early, I would absolutely recommend getting the application as soon as you can. So parents, if you can ask teachers for those applications in the fall, prior to, around Christmas or Thanksgiving break, that would be a good time to access those applications if you haven't already. And then, so then that way that gives you ample time to complete that application and to turn that in. To provide a little bit more detail as to what exactly the programs entail, SWEP is an 8-week summer program and STEP is a 6-week summer program, where essentially we are supporting students age 16 to 20 and learning what it's like to have a job. So we have predetermined sites in both programs, and we conduct an intake process. We talk with that person and figure out where they would be successful with, where they would be successful at. They are able to rate their sites preferences. And then we try our best to pair people with their first, if not first, their second choice, and pair them at sites so where they are working in a small group. So it's different than our other employment services programs where it is all one-on-one support. SWEP and STEP is group support. So you might be in a small group of two students, or at most for our agency, the most individuals we'll have at a time is 4. So anywhere in that kind of ratio, we're working together as a group at a site in the community. So it could be a place like Schnucks or TJ Maxx. We have hotels, all sorts of good places where we're learning the tasks that once again will transfer over to a paid position at some point. We're learning what that commitment looks like. Making sure we're punctual each day and we're ready to work and we're keeping up our stamina throughout the entire day. Our shifts are about 5.5 hours long in that program because we work Monday through Thursday. So the hours are typically 9 a.m. to 2:30. So it's kind of nice though, because students still get a break every weekend. They've got a 3-day weekend so they can enjoy their summer. We just ask that they commit to Monday through Thursday to work towards these work skills. So we also cover social skills in that program as well. As you can see, there's definitely a trend. Social skills are a very important component to this. And so, yeah, it's about after those 6 or 8 week programs are completed, we hope that students return to school and then they return to the program the next year. And if they are graduating that next year, we hope they look into our pre-employment or other employment services options. So we hope that with SWEP and STEP, we always want it to be a fun experience. So then people are more excited and, looking forward to coming back and learning more about jobs.
Well, thank you, Taylor, for giving us all that wonderful information about your program and processes for pre-employment for individuals with disabilities. That was some great information, a lot of information, and hoping that a lot of people will take advantage of it early so that they can actually take advantage of all the opportunities. Since there's no questions in the chat, I would like to introduce our social worker, Meg, and our one of our parent education and diversity awareness program leaders, Emily. So you all can introduce yourself, Meg or Emily, whoever wants to go first.
I can go. I have my little script here. So I'm Meg Lavera. I'm one of the social work effective practice specialists here at SSD. I serve as one of the technical administrators for the SSD social work department. Our district employs over 100 social workers serving students throughout St. Louis County. I can help connect you to social workers where they're assigned to your student schools and help navigate needs and resources. You can email me at Lavera, Lovera at ssdmo.org, or my direct line is 314-989-8444. Lavera at ssdmo.org, or my direct line. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emily Lebu. I am a parent educator here at Special School District, and we help parents navigate the whole special education system, including community agencies. And you can contact us at 314-989-8460, or you can email us at ssdpeda, PEDA, at ssdmo.org.
And I am Michelle Franklin from the Family and Community Outreach Department. Our department is here to support schools, families, and community partnership. I want to continue to share some exciting news about our department. We opened the Family Resource Hub at North Tech High School, and it's open, and we have a satellite food pantry. It's open Tuesday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you need anything, any support with technology, we have computers set up, we have the satellite food hub, we have printing stations, whatever you need, we are here to support. You can contact us at familyengagement@ssdmo.org. Again, that's familyengagement@ssdmo.org. Or you can contact me directly at 314-989-8034. Again, it has been a pleasure introducing and listening to all the wonderful information from Tyler from the St. Louis ARC. Thank you for coming and sharing. This concludes this Lunch and Learn series session for the month of April. We look forward to our next session in May, where we will have a representative from the St. Louis County Library. Thank you all for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
wonderful,
you.
wonderful rest of your day.
You too.